What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. During the last part, we saw the climax of the Android saga, and how it affected Cooler and everyone else. Once Cell showed up, that made things a bit more complicated, even though things were already pretty screwed up with Cooler there. But thankfully in the end, everyone came together and was able to defeat Cell, and even the androids got to survive through it, including 16. But now that we're entering a time skip, what's going to happen next? For this video, let's set a like goal of 3,500 likes. If we hit that, I'll continue with another part of this series. Anyways, let's pick up from here. Cooler and Piccolo begin their training in the Room of Spirit and Time. Cooler was really looking forward to doing this. Sadly, he's not going to be able to test out his strength against Cell, but still, fighting against Piccolo should be good enough for him. After fusing with Kami, Piccolo got a lot stronger, so Cooler's pretty hyped up to train with him. And even though Piccolo's really strong right now, he comes to learn the insane potential of Cooler. Even though it's not something like what Frieza had, it's still really great. Cooler's growing exceptionally fast, and he's getting exceptionally powerful. Having this power on their side will be amazing. The two of them exit the Room of Spirit and Time much stronger than before, and Cooler's immediately ready to fight someone. He wants to face off against Goku again, just like he promised. The good thing is, it's clearly under much better circumstances this time. Cooler's not going to go out of his way to kill Goku, but hey, if Goku's up for a fight to the death, Cooler won't oppose. Of course, Goku doesn't really want to do that. But having an all-out battle should be fun. Goku shows off Super Saiyan Grade 4, ready to finally get to use it against a worthy opponent. Cooler's not too sure what's different about it, but Goku explains. And Cooler actually can sense a great difference in power. At first, Goku's confused as to why Cooler's not transformed, but Cooler says he doesn't need to right now. He's even powered up his base form. But as the battle continues, he says he will bring out his final form. The two begin clashing, and immediately it's clear that Goku's ahead right now. And the thing is too, he's fighting completely efficiently. With Super Saiyan Grade 4, he's not losing any stamina like he was before with regular Super Saiyan. But he does know that Cooler is way stronger in his base form. This is interesting. He wonders how much he's grown in his final form. And Cooler could tell that he's not getting anywhere with this, so he eventually does transform. And much to Goku's surprise, Cooler's actually stronger than him. And not only has his strength improved, but his technique has improved. He's learned some moves from Piccolo too, as well as a better fighting style. Instead of just being brutish strength before, he now has a little bit more finesse in his moves. It's incredible. The two have an all-out battle, and both are pleased by it. Goku can see how strong Cooler's grown, and vice versa. And most importantly for Cooler, he actually wins here. It not only shows how much he's grown, but the fact that he's finally beat Goku after all this time. It really gives him an ego boost. Vegeta doesn't believe it. Is Cooler really that much stronger? He wants to test for himself. So, Vegeta even fights Cooler, going full power as well. And if Goku couldn't win, Vegeta's definitely not going to win here either. Vegeta also ends up losing against Cooler. They weren't aware that Cooler had this kind of power within him. If this is what he could do with a year of training with Piccolo, imagine what he could do with more intense training, especially over a longer period of time. The potential of his race might be even more than that of the Saiyans. And who knows, maybe he can even access a new form sometime soon, something beyond his final form. And now, we can enter a time skip into the Buu saga. Over the 7 years, a lot does change. Vegeta ends up having a two-way rivalry with Cooler and Goku. He wants to be better than both of them. His distaste for Cooler actually makes him a lot closer to Goku if anything. And even though he doesn't really like Cooler too much at first, he eventually does kind of warm up to him. He doesn't end up showing it too much, but he does trust Cooler way more than he did beforehand. And this is mainly because Cooler chills out a lot. Of course, even in the Cell saga, he still wasn't as bad as before. But after all this time on Earth, I think it's safe to say he's finally turned good. First of all, he's actually made some friends, mainly Piccolo and Goku. And oddly enough, he's a surprisingly good uncle to Goten and Gohan. Vegeta doesn't really want him around Trunks too much, but eventually there's not much he could do. And based on what he saw from the other Trunks before, Cooler's pretty fond of this Trunks as well. Cooler even gets his own gi, surprisingly enough. He doesn't end up wearing it much because whenever he transforms, it just rips completely off. But it's cool to have something that's matching everyone else. He never realized what he was missing out on, all that time out in space beforehand. Not only was he weaker out there, but it wasn't as fulfilling out there. Here, he's growing a lot stronger, and he's feeling a lot more content with himself. Even though he wouldn't admit it before, he does like being on Earth and all these people that he met. Originally, he did just come here for a fight and to train, but that's changed. Now he actually lives here, and he's also reminded of his brother. This is what Frieza's been missing out on too, as well as King Cold. No wonder the two of them lost to everyone here. They were going about life all wrong. Eventually we reach the end of the time skip, and now we can actually head into the Buu saga. Besides all the changes that I just expressed with Cooler, not too much else is different, besides the obvious fact that Goku's also alive here. Really, the biggest change I could see is that probably all the Saiyans would be stronger. Goku's influence and even Cooler's influence would mean they're both stronger, as well as Vegeta and Gohan getting stronger too. Gohan does still become the Great Saiyaman though, and eventually everyone gets recruited into the tournament thanks to him and Videl. In terms of the tournament itself, not too much is going to change here either. One of the regular contestants would be kicked out in place of Cooler. But it is the Buu saga. Cooler's not even going to be able to fight because the tournament's eventually going to be interrupted. And he actually notices something pretty odd about one of the contestants, the one that ends up facing Piccolo. That outfit and that appearance. The group notices him staring at that guy, and they're wondering what's going on. Cooler says he's never actually seen one in person, but from what he's heard about, this might be a Kai. A Kai, like King Kai? No, a Supreme Kai. He knows of the different gods ruling this universe. For example, there's Lord Beerus, whom he doesn't mention here just to not freak everyone out. But he also does know about Shin, or at least he's heard about him. Why is the Supreme Kai here, if that's who he is? Once Piccolo comes back from the fight, that just confirms it for him. Shin and Kibito are actually pretty surprised to see Cooler too. They know of him because they know of Frieza. It's odd to see that his brother's here and he's actually good, maybe? But there's also good Saiyans here too, so that's not really too crazy. And once Popovich and Yamu attack Gohan, they're all filled in about Majin Buu. So that's why the Kais are here. And Cooler of course knows about Buu as well. Frieza heard of him from King Cold, so it's not really too weird to say that Cooler might know about him too. Just like how he knew about Lord Beerus. Majin Buu is here now? Well, thankfully he hasn't been revived yet, but that's what they're trying to do. Those guys that just took that energy from Gohan, they're trying to take it to Babidi in order to revive Buu, so they need to stop him right away. Since Cooler has heard about Buu before and knows that he's big trouble, he's actually up for stopping Babidi right away. And the rest of the group joins in as well. Cooler is actually a bit concerned, which is weird. The group's never seen Cooler acting like this before. Usually he'd be stoked at the potential of a nice fight, but he explains what he's heard from King Cold. Shin and Kibito both confirm this too. Cooler's always known that if Majin Buu ever showed up, he shouldn't mess with him. His power is leagues beyond where he and Frieza were. Even at his current strength, he's not too sure if that would be enough for Majin Buu. And this puts it into perspective for Goku and Vegeta as well. If Cooler's concerned, what are they gonna even do? They're weaker than Cooler. I mean, they are strong, and actually stronger than they were in canon. But if the strongest guy in the group is worried about Buu, yeah, that's cause for concern. They need to stop this right away. And immediately as they get there, Cooler begins making quick work of everyone. They're surprised at the initiative he's taken. First off, he goes to attack Dabur, making the fight as quick as possible, even killing him right away before he even goes back into the ship. Babidi begins panicking once he sees Cooler here, retreating back into the ship as quickly as possible as Cooler begins barging in. Cooler goes around destroying the rest of the minions, making the fight as quick as possible, blowing the ship apart and trying to find Babidi. Everyone else just watches on. It's weird to see Cooler panicking like this, but hey, he's making quick work of this, and maybe it'll actually turn out well. At least they expect so. Babidi knows that he's in a corner. He needs to try something new. He already got a lot of energy from Gohan, and he's so close to getting Buu revived. He has more than half the energy he needs. He just needs a little bit more. But how can he do that? His minions are dead, especially his strongest one, Dabur. He's gonna need a new one. And that gets him thinking. That guy that's attacking them right now, Cooler. Babidi looks into his mind. Something's off about him. He wasn't always good. And with his panic state right now, his mind is actually unguarded. This gets him thinking. He begins looking around and sees that deep down, Cooler was actually pretty evil before. It's kind of a long shot, but this is his only chance at actually reviving Buu and staying alive. So, Babidi begins trying to possess Cooler. Cooler begins feeling strange, and Shin and Kibito watch on concerned. They ask him what's happening, and Cooler grabs his head. He doesn't know. He feels like someone's attacking his mind. He can't describe what's going on, but he's in pain. And they know what's happening. Babidi's trying to possess him. And unlike Vegeta, Cooler's not doing this willingly. He's actually trying to resist here. But as I mentioned, with the panic state he's in, Babidi's able to take advantage of this to try and manipulate him. Plus, Cooler's evil nature is way easier to bring up than it was for Vegeta. It's only been dormant for a few years, and his evil nature was pretty strong before. Babidi just needs that to resurface, and he'll win. Cooler then powers up too, trying to resist it as much as possible. But he needs more power. He can't resist it with just this. Even his final form isn't enough. He shouts, and then a massive explosion occurs. The entire ship is blown apart, with everyone flung outside once again. They look down and see a massive crater, with Cooler at the bottom of it, and he slowly begins rising up. He's surrounded by a darkish aura, and he has that same evil grin he had before when he first came to Earth, as well as an M on his head. Babidi's done it. He successfully possessed Cooler, creating Majin Cooler. And again, I want to stress that Cooler didn't do this willingly. He was almost able to resist it, but Babidi was able to take advantage. And Shin and Kibito realize this. They say that Goku and Vegeta need to fight him. He'll be too dangerous if he's controlled by Babidi. But also, there's a chance at saving Cooler. He was resisting before, and that means maybe he could break free of it himself. They need to get through to him. Not only do they need to hold him back physically in a fight, but they need to figure out a way to beat him mentally. Piccolo and Gohan try talking with him, and Cooler's definitely not talking as he normally would. He's loyal to Babidi, which makes no sense. Cooler would never do that. This definitely wasn't something that he succumbed to willingly. They need to get to the Cooler that's actually in there. But then they remember from before, maybe if he powers up more, he'll be able to resist Babidi's power. They need to fight him and push him to break his limits. If they can get him to power up even more, then maybe Cooler's true personality will shine through, overcoming Babidi's mind control and allowing him to break free of this curse. The four of them all team up. They know Cooler's moveset, and they know he's strong, but with their combined effort, they should be able to actually help hold him off. And that's the great thing here. Unlike Majin Vegeta, he doesn't want a 1v1. He's ready for anything. Cooler then launches into battle, with everyone reminiscing on how they first met Cooler. This is just like that first time he came to Earth. It brings it all back, and it really shows how much Cooler's truly changed, and it just gives them more of a reason to try and save him right now. While they all clash with Cooler, they even try talking with him. Goku and Piccolo try to get through. They're the two that are closest with him. Gohan as well. He knows Cooler's not like this. Remember all the times they've been training together. Remember all those peaceful gatherings and feasts that he's had with his friends. And most importantly, remember who the people in front of him are. They changed his life, and he changed theirs. Cooler can't destroy this place. He's expressed it himself. He regrets not coming here earlier. He was always glad to have found Earth, and they need to bring those memories back to him. They're not getting through to him at first, but they notice as he fights, he begins hesitating a bit. Maybe it's working. Cooler's holding himself back, but he can't do that. He can't hold himself back. They need him to show more power. Even though it risks reviving Boo, he needs to break his limits. He needs more power to overcome that control. As mentioned before the time skip, he was looking to even go beyond his final form. Maybe this will finally be what pushes him to, and need to actually ascend it. They are going to have to use some brute strength as well. With the four of them fighting together, they're able to hold off Cooler pretty well. Completely overpowering him, this pushes Cooler back. He's being attacked both mentally and physically right now, and this puts great stress on him. He needs to awaken something new. And as the battle goes on, his aura begins changing. That darkish aura from before, it begins going away. It starts becoming more normal, going back to what it was like for Cooler before. And then Cooler stops mid-fight. He's struggling. They can't tell what's going on, but he's just standing there. His aura flares up once more, but this time it changes again. It's an odd metallic blue aura. And then Cooler starts talking to them again. No, wait, he's talking to Babidi. He's telling Babidi he won't let him control him. He won't let him destroy Earth using his body. And he won't let Boo get revived. He needs to protect everyone here, and he's going to win this battle. Babidi's watching from his ship. He can tell he's losing control. He tries fighting for more power, but it's not working. Cooler's overcoming him. The aura around Cooler begins flaring up even more. And then another massive explosion of power occurs, followed by a blinding light. They're looking at Cooler. He's glowing. It's almost hard to look at, both from a combination of his own aura and the sunlight reflecting off him. It almost looks like he's pure white, almost like how he looked before, but a lot shinier. But as the aura dissipates, they could see him more clearly. His skin, it's almost a platinum-like color, and also incredibly shiny. There's also some other minute differences with his final form, but most importantly, the M on his head is gone. He's done it. He's broke free of Babidi's curse, but also, he's accessed a new realm of power. He's never seen this before. He could feel it. It's very strong, but also very draining. So this means they've done it. They stopped Boo's revival, right? Well, not really. The ground begins rumbling around them. It's already too late. They've given off far too much energy already, but there was no other way. Cooler then looks behind him terrified. Back to where the ship was, from the crater, someone rises out of it. There's a giant pink man there, with Babidi on his shoulder. It's Majin Buu. He's been revived, and Babidi thanks everyone. How funny. They broke Cooler out of his curse, but they were still way too late. Boo's already been revived, and there's nothing they can do about it. But as Cooler feels the power coursing through him, he says it's not true. He doesn't feel scared of Boo anymore, especially seeing him now. Sure, he can sense Boo's power, and it's great, but he tells Babidi that what he did was a big mistake. He forced Cooler to get a new power to break free from the curse, and now his power is way higher than before. He apologizes to the group for getting possessed in the first place, but he tells them it's not too late. With their combined power, as well as the power of this new form of his, Majin Buu can and will be defeated. Cooler points a finger towards his friends, asking them to join him, and then he swings around, pointing at Babidi. He'll witness their combined power, and most importantly, he doesn't know what to call this form, so he just wings it. I took inspiration from both Metal Cooler and Golden Frieza, and we have a pretty simple and obvious name for this form. Cooler then looks right at Boo, telling him to witness the power of Platinum Cooler. And this is where we'll leave off for now. So, what did you guys think about this part, and what do you think is going to happen next time? Leave any thoughts or suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like, and let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video so we can get another part to the series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe, as well as hitting the bell icon so you're notified about any future parts of this What If, or any other videos I upload on my channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.